Hello guys, good morning. My name is Bon and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, actually, this is very special because this vlog is not all about traveling. As you can see here, I'm on the train, but I will take this opportunity to interview two of my friends who work in the same setting but very differently. One is working in a private ward in London, and the other one is of course working NHS or National Health Sector. So we will compare the similarities and differences between the nurses working in the ward in a private setting and the nurses working in a ward in an NHS. So guys, are you all excited? So let's listen and get to know more about their experiences in the ward, in a private setting, and in the NHS.
Hold up.
Alright guys, so here are the two victims for today's vlog. One is Kenneth, he's working in a private sector in a ward. And one is Juan Carlos, he's working in an NHS in a ward. So we will know their perspective about working in two different kind of wards in the UK. Alright? Guys, so actually I made a list of questions that I will ask them. So this is a disclaimer, so these are based on their own experiences, personal experiences, while they are working in their own respective wards. So their companies are not reflected on their opinions. Alright, so let's begin.
So hello guys, my name is Ken and I'm working in a private hospital for around like 5 years now in London, and I'm now currently working as a stroke rehabilitation nurse in a private hospital, as I said, in central London.
Good morning, my name is Juan Carlos. I'm a nurse in a public hospital, the NHS, and I've been working in the NHS in different hospitals for a little bit more than 4 years now.
Right, a fast question. What is your patient to nurse ratio?
As I said earlier, regarding to the staffing level, normally in the private sector, we only have like at least like 3 or 4 patients, maximum of 4. Sometimes 5, but that's way too much. It's like at least like 3 patients per nurse.
And the NHS, you mentioned it's 10
Is
in the ward.
In the general ward is 10 to 14, because if you do night shifts, then you'll have 14 patients sometimes.
Oh my. Okay, so you've seen the differences of the nurse-patient ratio.
That's way too much.
Alright.
Cube.
Next question. What kind of patients do you usually get in private?
Okay, so that's very interesting, because in a private, because they pay private insurance, so they expect you to deliver the best quality care. So they have high expectations for nurses, and it's probably like the same as to like NHS, but the thing is they have high expectations as to the level of care that they're receiving, because as I said, they pay insurance, private insurance.
So in the NHS, Carlos, what types of patients do you usually have?
Any kind of patient, any person from the royalty to the
Ordinary ones.
ordinary people in the street. Well, yeah.
As long as they have NHS.
As long as they have NHS insurance,
Yeah.
like NI, like national insurance. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Who are the members of staff during a shift in the ward setting in a private sector?
So in the private sector, we have different allied healthcare workers working hand in hand in the care for the patient. We have like nurses as well, and we have physiotherapists, we have occupational therapists, we have dietitians, we have the neuropsychologists, and we have the doctors. We have the house doctor, we call the resident medical officer. So we work hand in hand, and I love how we work all together for the care of the patient, because you know, we treat each other as if we are of equal level.
So we have the ward clerk, we have the nurses, we have the doctors, we have the junior doctors, we have the physiotherapists, we have the occupational therapists, and we have, who else? Well, we have the cleaners and the healthcare assistants as well.
In a private sector, what do you, in your experience in the private, working in a private ward, what do you like most about the ward?
The thing is, the ones that I like the most about my ward is my the culture of the ward, because we always like help each other. Everyone answers the bell whenever someone rings the bell, and it's there's not much issues in terms of how we work hand in hand with patients, and we give time to talk to patients, to get to know them more, and sometimes we become good friends of patients in the hospital.
Okay, Carlos, what do you like most about NHS ward?
I think everyone is really, very professional and really educated on very, intelligent and very hardworking as well. And also, if you have any questions, you have always a lot of support, and also you have guidelines to follow for every single thing that you do in the public care setting.
So we've talked about the things you love in the ward. So what is it that you don't like about the ward in the private sector?
Okay, so that's again another interesting question, because in the private we normally make our own policies, although we have guidelines, like nice guidelines and all, but the problem is we don't have a standard protocol for the things that we do in the ward, and I think that would somehow create some sort of commotion in terms of how we manage the patient, because it's somehow consultant led sometimes, and consultants have different ways of managing the patient, and sometimes they don't follow guidelines, although there is a guideline in place, but they don't follow it sometimes, and it causes somehow a bit of disruption in terms of the treatment for the patient.
Alright, Senor, what do you don't like about NHS wards?
I think because we rely so much on technology when we are caring for patients, and we need to quickly document everything about the patient and incidents and etc. We sometimes find difficulties with technology because technology fails a lot, and that's one thing that even if you fix it, it comes back, comes back, the failures, the technological reliability is not very excellent, so that's one aspect that we need to improve.
Next question for the private sector. How fast can you get promoted?
I would say it's not too quick, it's not too slow as well. Probably it's just in the middle, but that really depends, of course, on your performance. Also depends on how many years or the tenure of your service in the hospital, and also the vacancy of the position. So it's not based also on seniority levels, or as what I have experienced from before back home working in the Philippines. Here it's based mainly on your skills, on your competency, as well as your confidence in assuming a role with a supervisory role or leadership role. So that really depends on you.
So how is it to be promoted in an NHS? Is it easy?
If in the world the flow of people leaving and people coming as a new starter is very quick, then it's very quick to get promoted. It just takes a few months.
Okay, so it really depends on the turnover of the patient, of the staff.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. These are for the new nurses. How efficient or how is the training in the private sector? Do you feel supported?
So same as probably with the NHS, in the private sector, we are also supported by the management. Like for new starters, they will undergo the same training as as per requirement of the law. They go for supernumerary for a few weeks or a month, and then they will be assessed and evaluated in terms of their competency and skills. And then when they pass the level, they can they can also always get support from the staff, from everyone, for the duty managers. So it will always be there's support for new starters. It's not like it's difficult for them.
Okay. How's the support in NHS in terms of newcomers and new starters?
It's quite good. Actually, I would say sometimes it's too much. But it really depends on the work, depends on the place, depends on the pace of the work, depends on the load of patients, depends on many things. But I would say my hospital where I work, the support for both for students and newcomers is really good.
So this is the last and most trivial question. So what are the usual average or the usual range of salary in an award nurse in a private setting?
So in a private setting, normally the range of salary would probably fall under let's say 26,000 to 31,000 annual salary. So that's probably the range for a nurse who's just starting in the ward. And if ever you get promoted, so probably it's gonna increase like around like 35 to at least like 45 or 42 for a band 6 or a higher posts. So that's normally the range of the salary in the private sector.
So how about in the NHS?
So in the NHS, if you want to know about the salary, then you go on Agenda for Change on the internet, click the link below, and you'll have all the information there.
Yeah, because apparently the NHS has like a standardized salary for all.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, I guess, because the private one, it depends on the employers.
Yeah, depend on the organization.
Yeah,
depends
on the organization.
on the
There are private sectors who pays a lot less or a lot more. But the NHS, they pay equally and based on your banding. All right. So before I end this question, this vlog rather, so what tips can you give for those who wanted to transfer to private sector?
Awesome tips. So when you wanted to try transfer to private sector to start a career in a private hospital, you always have to remember that sometimes you have to be patient. Not only be patient with the patients that you handle, because they pay insurance privately, so they expect and they demand really high level of care from the nurses, from you guys. And also don't be so frustrated in terms of like the management of the patient, because the thing is, somehow it's a consultant-led institution, the private hospital. So we follow or we adapt to the policies or the things that the doctor are saying, but we can always have our voice. If we think that it's not right, you always have the right to speak and to fight for what you always believe, what is good for the patient.
Right, so any tips for those who would want to start in the NHS to work?
Two things. One, make sure you like the specialty. Otherwise, you're gonna struggle a little bit.
Correct.
But it all depends on your background and your patience and your knowledge. And the second one, if you are a non-English speaker, make sure that you have a good level of English. That's it.
Alright guys, so we've enjoyed listening to them. I apologize because we are inside the train, but I guess I will just put some subtitles if it's really noisy. But I think we've learned a lot from both of these wonderful guys. A nursing perspective, especially if you're a starter and you would want to start a career and you are on the path of choosing either you are on the private sector or you would want to start in an NHS. That has been a long decades of debate, which is better, NHS or the private one. But it's up to you guys. My main take on this is know what you want and experience what you need. So because at the end of the day, it's what you and your experiences would teach you. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please give this a thumbs up. Drop some comments and some feedbacks down below. Let us know what you think. Give some bright light for those nurses who are asking which is better, NHS or private. But anyway, thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video and adventure. Bye.